is much different than pre-9/11. We used to have, we felt that we were equal citizens with others, but soon after 9/11, we felt much different, as if we were second-class citizens. Wherever we went, most of the places, people looked at us and treated us a little bit differently. And sometime maybe it is our own perception, but sometime when we heard some jokes or some taunts, then it was very obvious that we are being targeted.
Before 9/11, Muslims were feeling that we are part of this society. But after 9/11, we found it other way. After 9/11, Muslims who are praying or putting hijab or big beards, they were stopped at the airport, or people were called upon their houses were raided by our agencies. So Muslims start feeling the pain of that incidents. As a Muslim organization, I want to say we are part of this community, we love our country, and we want to act as other citizens do to protect this country. But to some extent, we feel that we are identified in a way which is not justified. Muslims who did something bad to our country, they are not from this country.
Al-Qaeda has international supporters, and some of those supporters hide themselves in the disguise of charity. The message is this: those who do business with terror will do no business with the United States.
And while these laws and policies are meant to make us safer, they actually run counter to our efforts to counter terrorism. They alienate American Muslims who are key allies. They undermine American reputation overseas, especially in the Muslim world. And they chill legitimate humanitarian aid that's meant to go to the people who need it most.
There was fear, because many of the families did have problem, whether they're youngsters, boys, young men, or their husbands or some relatives were taken away. And some of them, after 4, 5, 6 months, when they appeared before the court and the court found nothing wrong, but in the meantime their life was almost destroyed, because the job was gone and the families suffered. So many of them had, and Islamic Circle of North America many times helped them financially or otherwise also. So we knew that a lot of Muslims suffered. And of course, we felt very much hurt, because we know that in America at least, you are innocent unless proven guilty. So that was our thing that was hurting us most. But I guess in such a big disaster, whatever happened, these things are maybe normal to some extent. There was fear, the government, and also the past administration also I think was spreading more fear than they should have, and it was a chaos, especially in New York. So we did have that kind of problem, but after, and it went on for many months and years actually.
Whenever I go overseas, somebody receives me from the plane when I arrive, red carpet, and There is nothing. I go there, I sit there for 4, 5, 6 hours, and then they let me go. It happens every time I go. Not only me, there is a lot of people from our organization. When they go overseas, they receive the same treatment. I don't know what's behind it. Now again, even if I travel inside, I get hard times traveling it. So what does it say? That being a community leaders in the Muslim community, I am identified, I am being victim of these policies. So I think this is not right away. If you have something, bring it on us. If not, then let it go. So we can become as I would say the other citizens do. Same way I have this with most of the Muslim community leaderships have the same problem. So what we are doing is actually identifying whole Muslim community leaderships as a prospect or suspects. That's not the good thing. So this is my point. We have to come out and say, okay, these are the people, very clean people, we can deal with them. And then we say, okay, these are the people we can't. Maybe we identify what's the problem with them. We can sit with them. We are from this country.
The government's actions against Muslim charities has caused a chilling effect, making it difficult for Muslims to fulfill one of their religion's basic tenets.
Donors told me that every time they consider writing a check to a legal American charity, they're scared that the FBI will knock on their door, or their business will be taken away, or they could be dragged into court, or even imprisoned. And beyond that, it's a religious freedom issue.
One of the 5 pillars of Islam is the act of zakat. Similar to tithing, Muslims consider giving to charity a sacred duty, essential to their ability to freely practice their faith.
Those who have, they should help the have-nots. So that is our religious duty.
So what this report does is look at the process of radicalization. You might say before people become terrorists. What can we do as a government to perhaps intercede or prevent this process from going fully forward?
None of us were consulted because we did want to, we wish that we were consulted for the methodology of the study also. And also there were so many presumptions there. When you have a priori assumption, then things happen according to that. So this is what was not done. Number 2, it presented, for instance, there was another thing that I personally felt uneasy, and many other Muslims. One of the 2 authors of that study was a Hindu, and even though he may be a very honest person, but Muslims don't feel easy about, because there's a lot of history about Hindu and Muslim, especially in India, Indo-Pakistan continent. So that was, I think, unwise. That poor fellow may be very honest, but it gives a very wrong impression to Muslims that, oh, a Hindu was out, 50% was written by Hindu.
Before bringing out this report, New York Police Department, we thought maybe we go so many meetings with them, they would have come to us and tell, look, we thought that this is the report is coming. What is your point of view? How we can, include your point of view in that? That never happened. It come out all in a sudden. So, but as a Muslim organization, we work with the Muslim organization in this city. We work with the police department. We work with the DA's office. We work with our borough presidents. It never came out. So this is one thing I want to mention, that what we are advocating is that if really you want to make a difference, you can make the difference working with the community.
That would have been a very wise thing, because at least we wouldn't have that kind of doubt in the studies. The other thing, that it came out with some kind of a result that as if every young man, and there's a list there, between 18 and 22 and this and beard and that kind, I don't remember the whole list, is mean all of those are suspect. Whereas here we learn that you are not suspect, I mean you are not guilty unless proven guilty. Next point was that when we objected to it, we went to the commissioner and all that, they didn't really redress our complaints. They did try, I don't know how to take that away from, but still that group which was working and doing the analysis still as late as day before yesterday were talking to the commissioner that we want to have another meeting with you on that one. Another point was that they mentioned some examples to prove their whatever list they had.
We talked about Lackawanna, New York. We talked about right here in New York City with the Herald Square case. We talked about the Fort Dix case. We have the JFK case, which was just last month. So we think it's very real, and it is certainly as significant as the threat that comes to us from overseas.
Now, this example to us were again unwise, because these cases are still pending. See, you don't bring any examples when the case is still in the court. They should have avoided those examples, given some other example which already have been proven, people have been proven guilty.
The main point is that there is a lot of Muslim organization and mosques in this country, about 3,000 mosques, 8-9 big Muslim organization. Our institutions, governmental agencies need to work with those organizations, because they are the one who is going to educate Muslim community on those issues, and they have more access inside the community than our agencies or our administrations. So my point is that if you create a communication with the big organizations, and then it will help you to communicate with the society. It's not the way we are trying to work is penetrating, trying to identify the mosque and sending agents there. It backfires, because then what happens, people think that everybody is a target. And first of all, we need to educate people that everybody is not the target. We need to identify those people who are really trying to hurt our country, and that's the main point. And Muslim organization fail because we are representing the community in their religious faith, and we are facing in two ways. One is the people who are extreme, they are identifying that these people are not really religious people. The other way is that our government is targeting us, saying, okay, because they are talking about the Islam, educating about the Islam, so they become prime target.
As far as we know, innocent youngsters were trapped, and again when we heard the inside stories, it was very painful that they had nothing to do, yet they were caught, and they were many times for years not brought to any court. So our point of view was and is that if somebody is guilty, bring them to the court, and if they are really guilty, they found guilty, punish them as according to the law.
The best example I can give you, I was thinking the other day, in New York City, the police department made an excellent progress when they started working with the communities on the violent crimes, on the killing innocent people in New York City. And this is an example how you can work with the communities, and then you take out a lot of violence from the community. Same thing could happen with the Muslim community, but not identifying that whoever is going to pray, if you see somebody praying 5 times, that means he's this kind of things will take you further distance, identifying those who are doing bad things. So my approach would be that look at the examples, practical examples, and apply same thing, because we are fighting terrorists, same people who want to hurt our country, hurt our people. So it applies as a in our community, if somebody is violent gang member or drug pushers, it's the same principle they do. They kill people. So they hurt innocent people. So this same thing applies. You have to take the community with you.
To us, especially to my organization who believe and who follow the middle road Islam, we feel that any Muslim who killed anyone either is crazy or is enemy of Islam, maybe bought by someone, agent of someone, because a true Muslim will never kill any innocent person. We read in the Quran, if you kill one innocent person, as if you kill the whole humanity. If you save one innocent life, as if you save the whole humanity. And ICNA has been doing this kind of work. We were helping in tsunami in Indonesia. We were down in the south when the Ike came, and before that the other disaster came. We were in California when the fire was there. So this is our one of our work, that we try to help the humanity, do the relief work, as well as to help individuals. We have been helping a lot of individual families or individual persons. We feed the hungry in different places, New York, Detroit, and we have shelter homes. So we feel the pain whenever somebody suffers, and it's not only Muslims, because if we take care of only Muslims, then we are not following Islam. If my next door neighbor is suffering, even if he's non-Muslim, I'm committing a sin. Now this is very strong word, but this is what is in the Quran. So if we are following Islam, we have to take care of the humanity, because we have to love the humanity. If you want to love the Creator, if you want to please the Creator, God Almighty, then we have to serve the humanity. That's what Islamic Circle of North America has been promoting and doing as best as we can. So we do feel that with the new administration, I think things are getting much better.
On behalf of the American people, including Muslim communities in all 50 states, I want to extend best wishes to Muslims in America and around the world. Ramadan Kareem. Ramadan is the month in which Muslims believe the Quran was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, beginning with a simple word, Iqra. It is therefore a time when Muslims reflect upon the wisdom and guidance that comes with faith, and the responsibility that human beings have to one another and to God. Like many people of different faiths who've seen Ramadan through our communities and families, I know this to be a festive time, a time when families gather and meals are shared. But I also know that Ramadan is a time of intense devotion and reflection, a time when Muslims fast during the day and perform Taraweeh prayers at night, reciting and listening to the entire Quran over the course of the month. These rituals remind us of the principles that we hold in common, and Islam's role in advancing justice, progress, tolerance, and the dignity of all human beings. This summer, people across America have served in their communities, educating children, caring for the sick, and extending a hand to those who have fallen on hard times. Faith-based organizations, including many Islamic organizations, have been at the forefront in participating in this summer of service. And in these challenging times, this is a spirit of responsibility that we must sustain in the months and years to come.
After 9/11 happened, I was the person who was involved from the very beginning. After the plane hit the Trade Center, some of the students were in that downtown area. I waited until 11 p.m. for those students to come in Jamaica, Queens, and take them to their parents. So I worked day out and day in with the victims of 9/11. So as a Muslim community, we also felt the pain, because a lot of Muslims also lost their lives. Not only Muslims, non-Muslims, everybody was the same, because if somebody gone from your family, you will have the same pain as others do. And we thought the same way. I worked with the interfaith communities in Manhattan and Brooklyn and Queens. We became member of New York Interfaith Disaster Services. We are the founding member of that organization. Still we are. So we don't feel, we don't feel threatened. We feel that the pain we had and we have is same for everybody, because we are part of that community.
Whatever they are getting, it could be improved. I think they are intelligent enough to have improved by now, because when you do study and you do experience, you improve. You learn by your mistakes also. So I'm sure they're learning and they're improving. But still, and they have started to get the input of the Muslim leadership in the United States. Overwhelming, and I would say almost all Muslim leadership, they don't want any terrorists to attack or do any harm, because we have been here, even some of us who are immigrants, but we have been here 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. Our children are here. They're not going to go any place. We are not going to go any place. This is our homeland. So why would we hide anyone who is trying to harm this country or this society? Like Islamic Circle of North America is trying to help all the Muslims and non-Muslims whenever they are in problems. So why we want to harm or hide any person who would? In fact, we would report to the police or to authority ourselves wherever we have even a doubt. Only carefulness that we'll have, that we don't put any name that may be 100% innocent. So we have to think, and we know most probably more than others, because we are in the community. So whenever we have any suspicion, it is our duty actually to at least warn some, and I have done it to police officers and community affairs officers, others, if I had any suspicion about anyone, warning the person that, look, this may not be true, but just keep an eye, that's all, because we don't want any Muslims to get hurt or any non-Muslim to get hurt or America to get hurt.
You see, you can find out the difference right away by the talk of the people. It's not the practice. Practice, Islamic faith is 5 times prayer everybody had to do. It has nothing to do with the radical or non-radical. It's the talk, how the person, he's praying, he might have a big beard or kufi or dresses, different dresses, but doesn't mean that he is radical. But how he is talking to his peers. I can tell you that if you go around and if you open your eyes and ears, you can try to identify that this person is not radical, because our faith is advocating to save the human life. And somebody who is trying in other way, right away you can identify them. And I can tell you, in USA, you may find very few, in thousands, maybe one or maybe more, less than that. So that's why I need to say that when you send people in the mosque, that creates a bad impressions, and that shuts off the communication between the administration and the community.
So the authorities have to have a lot of confidence on the leadership, Muslim leadership. Their task would become a little easier. Yet they do whatever they have to do, because they have resources that we don't have. Yet don't plant anything to where an innocent person might be caught for nothing. This has happened many times. And my challenge is, why don't we bring all those cases to the court?
America will always stand for the universal rights of all people to speak their mind, practice their religion, contribute fully to their society, and to have confidence in the rule of law.
But now, with new administration, I'm happy to report people have a lot of hope, and they are seeing some changes, although slow, but surely there are some changes. Things are improving.
And at this time of renewal, I want to reiterate my commitment to a new beginning between America and Muslims around the world.
So let's hope that we are all safe and innocent people are not caught, and if they're caught, they're released as soon as they're found innocent.
After 9 years, how many people we identified from our country who is trying to, destroy our society? So there is a very minute percentage, and you can find in any community this kind of percentage. So my appeal to you is that always look for those people, identify those people, and we can work with you on identifying those people.
I think things are getting much better. That fear is slowly dissipating, and but how long it will take, only God knows.